Well, today is National Dog Day, but we're celebrating our dogs the way that they actually want. And for that, joining us now is professional dog trainer Karen Laws, who's sharing some practical tips on understanding your dog's needs, creating better habits, and building a happier relationship with your four-legged friend. Karen, good evening. Thanks a lot for joining us. First off, you know, dogs bring so much happiness. We could use some happiness with everything that's going on, right?
All right.
So let's talk about that. The happiness effect that dogs have versus the actual, cost of having a dog and everything that's associated with that.
The cost of that happiness? Well, in my experience, some people try too hard. National Dog Day, people think, oh, I got to go buy them a fancy dress, some extra treats, and work a little bit harder with them. But in reality, dogs, they just want to be with. They just want to be with us. They're social beings just like we are. And that's where the happiness comes from. When you can have a companionship with your dog and just enjoy their company, not be worrying about the structure and the mechanics and the precision, that's energy matters. When you have that kind of energy you project to the dog, that's when they're the happiest.
And also, Karen, who do we have here?
This is Pippi. Pippi's a Papillon. She likes to go just about anywhere. She can't jump down, though.
There's more than one way to ownership, and you don't have to be a dog owner to, fulfill that love. You can foster a dog.
There's a lot of ways that you can feed your passion for dogs without owning one. You can foster, which means they usually live in your house, but you can also volunteer. Shelters are constantly looking, shelters and rescue organizations constantly looking for people to come to their facilities, to walk dogs, to sit in a room with a dog just to give them some human companionship. Elderly people who, one of my passions are seniors with pets because they bring such good companionship. And oftentimes seniors can't get outside. So if you're able, you can go and help an elderly neighbor that has a pet and get their dog what they need so that the senior can have a relaxing evening with them.
And so I want to ask you about this. The biggest gift may be becoming a better dog owner. What does that mean? What does that look like?
Well, it means recognizing the dog thinks, looking at the dog in front of you and finding out what their needs are. What do they like? Taking them to in the city we have lots of dog-friendly patios, but not every dog likes to be on a dog-friendly patio. And yet owners think because we want to do that, the dog should want to do that, and that's not necessarily the case. There's many, Pippi comes because out of all of the dogs that I work with and have, she's the most resilient. Like she'll go and do that. There's other things that she doesn't like. Being a better owner means recognizing that your dog is unique. It's not the same as the dog you had before, and it's not the same as your neighbor's dog. It's your dog, and it maybe doesn't necessarily want to go to the soccer game or to the patio. It just wants to maybe stay home, or maybe it wants to do those things instead of staying home.
And then the connection between training and a dog's freedom.
That's a great question. A lot of people think training is to have a well-behaved dog. And if you can step over top of the precision and recognize a well-trained dog creates a well-behaved dog, which equals more freedom for the dog because it gets to go more places.
So let's talk about, look, not everyone can afford a dog trainer. So what are some things that people can do that are free, doesn't cost anything, to be on the road to being a better dog owner and having a better dog, well-behaved dog?
For sure. Quality time is really important. Quality over quantity. If you don't want to be a prisoner to the dog, Pippi walks on it. This is a 10-foot line, and one of the best things that you can do, start them as a young dog or as a puppy, take them on sniff walks. Dogs see the world through their nose. Take them to a new area that maybe you've never been to before or they've never been to before, and just let them wander. Hang on for safety and let them wander.
That quality time, that's important. I remember when I got my first dog, I took off an entire week of work. That first week, we spent every day together.
There's nothing worse than getting a dog. Well, it's actually a good point because right now we're coming into the end of holiday season. A lot of dogs have been with their families for a couple of months because school's out. What's going to happen come in the next couple of weeks when school goes back? So when you get a new dog, do your homework. Recognize what's your lifestyle. What can you reasonably give to a dog, recognizing that time is the most important asset, but it still has to be balanced because the dog needs to learn how to cope with being alone, but not right off the bat. You want to spend that time to build a quality relationship because relationship is first. Everything that you do is either building or taking away from it.
And also getting a dog that reflects your lifestyle. If you don't go outside and run, don't get a dog that needs to be run.
If you don't like to go outside, don't get a husky.
Yeah.
If you don't like to stay inside, then don't get an inside dog. Dog like Pippi is small. I like that portability, but she's also resilient. She'll do anything and go anywhere.
What do you want to leave people with?
I want to leave people with the recognition that National Dog Day doesn't mean more treats and more clothes. It means more quality time. Dogs are social animals. They want to know who's in charge. They want to know what's going on. And that doesn't mean force. It means predictability. Give them a daily routine they can count on every single day that includes quality time with you. Sniff walks, games, interactive games, hide and seek. I call it the opposite game. If I walk, I'll go right on a trail. The dog goes left. I go right, and they come looking. And pretty soon they're looking for you all the time.
Professional dog trainer Karen Laws and Pippi. Thanks a lot.
Want to turn around, Pippi? Say hi.
You licked my hand earlier. Now you don't even know me. Right now, 7:22, 23 degrees, feeling more like 28. This is Toronto's breaking news, CP24. We'll have a look at Toronto's top stories next.